So welcome to my presentation about making your application intelligent. My name is Michał Jankowski. I'm working for Objectivity. I'm the technical architect, sometimes software developer, but yeah, I'm software in the evenings. I'm coding in the evenings. I'm also team leader. In free time, I'm traveling, taking photos, sometimes sharing knowledge on my blog, Twitter, and also GitHub account. Together with that, I'm Microsoft MVP from Azure. Today, we'll be talking about cognitive services, and I would like to show you how easy you can add this AI to your application with very small effort. Before we go to the presentation, I would like to show you one photo. I took this photo just maybe 1 hour ago, because in the same time, in the different location, there is Microsoft One event here. And there was like a huge message that AI will bring big value to the whole application ecosystem. So I hope that's why we are here. And yeah, there's some small issue with my Visual Studio that I do not want to start, but let's see what will happen. Still, it is like, how much? No, it's only 1 gigabyte for downloading. No worries, we'll survive. Before we start, I have a small question to you about Azure and cognitive services. So who here is using already Azure? Seriously? Nobody? What are you doing in your work? Yeah, I see one guy at the end. And cognitive services? Nobody. Perfect. So perfect session for you. I hope you will learn a lot from here. Today's agenda is very easy. We will start why. I would like to show you what is an AI, how it can bring value to your products. Then I will show you what. And I would like to show you that you need to change a bit your mindset, how you're working with application, or how you are thinking about the problems in your application. And then at the end, I think this is not the most interesting part, because you will see that integration with the services is so easy that the things that you would like to do 10 years ago that you think about that was a month of development, this is like 10 lines of code. I promise that I will develop in description of the session. I promise that we'll develop like some device from Star Trek. And when I started the preparation for this presentation, I was thinking, oh, I was in a very good mood to promise that. But I will show you that it's not so easy. It's not so difficult to do. So why? And when I think about artificial intelligence, there are 3 things that we should consider in this topic. So this is still like a small lie that the computers are trying to work like humans. So in this case, reasoning, so they're learning our algorithms, computers are learning from not perfect data, then they're understanding us, pictures, voice, images. And the last one, they're interacting. Think about the chatbots. We can talk with the bot, and even right now, I will give you one example. There is very difficult to sometimes check if it is a human or it is a computer. Those algorithms, those processes are getting better and better. The value. And this is, there are a lot of examples. There's like 3, here are like 3 of them. And what is the most important thing? A lot of companies are enabling this AI in their organization. Like here, Newcastle City Council, they introduce a bot. So they reduce the process that take about 2 weeks into 90 seconds. Think about what is the difference from your perspective, because it was application customer facing. So instead of waiting 2 weeks for an answer, you get in 90 seconds. Then Centrica, they added also a bot that was checking some kind of supporting cases, and this AI solution that reduced their mistakes in the whole process. And last one, Seadrill, it increased AI added to this company get better efficient in their services. But there's a lot of good ideas about the AI, but there's also a lot of bad things that can happen. And I think the most important thing that we should remember is way how we work with AI. If we start with that approach that we collect all data that we have and then start thinking about what we can build with this data, this is totally wrong approach. We will not deliver value to our application, to your customers. You should do it in an opposite way. You should think about business problem. Then when you have a business problem, you should think about what kind of solution you can provide. And then finally, you should think about how I can provide the data to build this solution. Never in opposite way. And it's happened to me. There's a story of one package. And sometimes you are ordering something, you are very happy. I was, at least at the time, very happy that I was able to get the delivery in the evening. Perfect. I don't need to order this to my work. I would just sit in after 5 p.m. in my living room and wait for the package. And on Monday, I get the SMS at about 1 p.m. Sorry, you are not home. The package will be not delivered. We'll try tomorrow in the morning. So you should see my face, how I was so angry because I was waiting for this package. If I would knew that this is not possible, I would just order it to my company. But I prefer to have it at home. And standard behaviors, I take the phones, a lot of fury in my head, and try to call to DHL or UBS or other company. And just after answering the phone, I got a smile on my face because I hear the bot say, yeah, let's see how it's working under the hood. And the bot was asking me about, can you pronounce the number of the package? So I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. He said, don't worry. I will double check if I understand it correctly. And now it's happening. So instead of saying in the same speed or very fast, it started saying this information like 1, 2, 3. I was waiting 1 minute to give a confirmation that this number is correct. I said, okay, let's give them a chance. But after this confirmation, I said, yeah, this is correct, let's go further. He said, now I will provide you all information about package that I have. And you know what was the speed of the talk with this bot? The same. 7 minutes later, I was still listening what's happening with my package. I was waiting, okay, go away. I was waiting for getting like a people there. And this is like example that if we will not design this interface in correct way, it can bring also frustration to ourselves, to your customers. The other thing that you should think about in this kind of example is that humans are becoming like a premium value. I wanted to just keep the boat and connect to the people. There's also another risk. Think about jobs. Previously, people was answering on the calls. Right now, it is like automated. So the number of employees that can support that kind of activities can decrease. So this is like from my perspective, AI in industry is like a revolution, like an industrial revolution that happened a few times in history, and we should somehow prepare it. Maybe not this group, because you will be, I hope, you and me will be part of this revolution, create this kind of algorithm, but when you'll be working with that, think about the people that will be using that this kind of algorithms will help with daily work, or maybe it's still their work. This is like a huge discussion and probably the topic for the longer session than 45 minutes. And let's see what we can do, because this is like introduction. And in cognitive services, there is 5 groups of services. Source of vision, as I mentioned before, it allows us to recognize pictures. So there's a computer vision, so it is describing a picture, 5 face recognition, ink recognition, video indexer, custom vision. Then interaction with human on the level of the speech, so we can talk to our computer, and our computer can talk to us. Then we have like a language. In this case, the service is based on the text analyze. So you can see that it can translate the text, it can check if it is positive or not, then it can also check the queries, provide the Q&A, some kind of mechanism. There is decision, content generator, algorithms that are helping with anomaly detection. And the last thing that is very powerful, but I'll be honest with you, I don't like to talk about that. This is like a search. So we can build custom searching in your application. I will try to today show you a bit of vision about of the speech and also translation. So we'll cover, 3 of 5. So let's make a short demo session. And I want to show you the coding. I will leave for the desktop because before you will touch the code, you should play with the solution and check what are the possibilities of it. So to do that, we can open cognitive service page, and you will find there a lot of good examples that you can play with that. The one thing that, I know that probably after the session somebody will say that there is a plugin to change the language. Let's change to, spelling mistake. It's okay? Yeah, it's okay. So let's start from vision. This one. So it is, you can see here, there's like a demo pages. So let's open the first one. And you will get the basic concept how this service is working. So this is, this is also in Polish. It's better. So you can see on the left side, there's like an image that have some areas marked, like here is a person, and maybe make it a bit bigger. If you go here, there's a person, another person also trained. So when you provide the photo to the service, it will give you answer like a JSON. So on the right side, you have answer. The first part is like information what they detect. So you can see there is rectangle object like a person. It is about 76% sureness that this is the person. There's other objects there also. There's a tags, so you can see there's a platform, there's a train. Then we go down to in this JSON. There is like information and description of this picture. Of course, when you'll be using this element from API, you can select what kind of information you can get from this service because you're paying for every information that you are getting from the service. And I'll be honest with you, I don't like go through the examples because I don't know what is your approach, but my approach is that it's very often we are putting there are examples that are working very good for this kind of service. So I will show you a few of my photos, and I will show you also some issues related to these photos. Not here. Oh, I can see that today will be have a fun day. What was the first idea? What we can use this service to? What kind of elements you can use this service? So when I started working with that, probably maybe let's pause it. When I started working with the service, for me it was perfect thing that I can use for describing the photos. So you can see that here, whoops, there's information about this photo. There's a group of people working on Brooklyn Bridge. The next thing that I started to think about was we start to using this service to check how people are feeling during the presentation and during different events. So you have here 3 persons on the stage, and you can see that this algorithm can detect the faces, can detect the also emotion of them. In the production, my first use of cognitive services was to check. Let's try to unconnect and connect it once again. In production, in my free time, with my friend, we started building a application for storing photos in a bit different way. And we wanted to be sure that our application will not be like another place for another place for not photos. So in this case, we are sending this our photos that some of the photos that people are. Why this doesn't change? Once again, some of the photos to this that people are submitting to our application to cognitive services. Oh, it's perfect. Let's use some architecture patterns. Okay. So you can see perfect photo, and here I can see smile on your face. But don't worry, I have better one. So the first two things that I would like to show you, it is the adult score. So it is like a 10%. The content is for the others, and there's like a racy about 70%. The funny thing about this photo is, till here it is like a person. When you think about the face, it is like a mammal. But let's upload better photo. This is okay, I think so. What do you think about this photo?
Very nice.
I can see a smile on your faces. You should come to my workshop when one of the group was checking how blur of different pornographic photos is affecting this algorithm. And there was the guys was doing that on their corporate site during the Saturday. But seriously, this is a nude photo? No. You can see this kind of plastic devices in shop windows very often without the clothes. But if you think about response of cognitive services, look at that. It is almost that this kind of plastic device should be not shown for the kids. Another good example of cognitive services is handwriting recognition. I will be very brave and show you my handwriting. Yeah, it's not so perfect. I do my best to show some letters in this text, at least from my perspective, and you can see that this algorithm is working quite nice. The first sentence looks very nice. There have problems with the last one, so the one, I should probably improve my who word. And then has lost, I would say it's not bad. Think about prescription. The first three letters and what is the medicine that we need to buy in pharmacy. When we look on the response, this is a better example because you can see here like a JSON. What is the text? What are the words? What is the position of this text? And you can see that on the one side, you will get like a nice answer for the text. On the other side, you get a huge JSON that you need to parse and do something with that. People. You know that person? I already showed you the photo of Satya. So cognitive services, it looks they also know that person. But I would say this photo is better than the first one. But you know, at the second photo, Microsoft Cognitive Services cannot recognize their boss. When you are working with cognitive services, you need to remember this is like an approximation. This is not 100% correct results. I will show you one picture. Because in this service, you can recognize not only the people, but you can also recognize brands and also landmarks. So you know what is here. And when you look on the answer, this is somewhere in London. So it can help you, this kind of services can help you with your daily work, but you need to think about the results. This is not that you can trust it in 100%. There is still, you can see that there's a huge probability because it's 80% that this is correct. But this is still like guessing. It's based on the algorithms that are under the hood. There are plenty of different examples. What I want to show you, because I mentioned that you need to change your mindset. And when we are working in, let's say, standard way, we sometimes do not see some kind of the solution. Let's think about face recognition. And I would like to build application that will based on my face to identify me and let me into the application. If we go with classic problem that we take our phone, focus on face, and then try to identify the person, there's a huge problem to that. It is not trivial problem to solve. But when you think about in different approach, for example, when our application will ask us, for example, for an email, and then it has a set of the photos that can compare that person to those photos, this problem becomes very easy to solve. So let's add my photo. You can see there are one person, second person. Let's wait for a few seconds. Let's give a few seconds to internet. And we see, yeah, it is only 9% that I'm on this photo. When I change the second one, okay, I will select other mind photo, or different one. You can see that this confidence should be a bit higher. And I will show you later in presentation. This kind of services is being used by Uber. Some time ago in Wrocław Airport, there was trying to test this approach. When we was adding information to our boarding card in the application, we could take a photo. Then when we was boarding to the plane, scanning air ticket, there was like camera that was checking if this is me, and if it was correct, there was just allowing me to enter the plane. So without a queue, with anything additional. You can see 90%, 91%, it's nice. If we connect all of the services in one product, we can do even something more. This is like our propaganda movie from Objectivity. Let's wait for a second. I hope it will start. Yeah. I don't know if it starts. Yeah. So what you can see here? First of all, you can see what kind of actor is in the movie and when. If you move the movie to those places, Piotr will be talking there.
Thank you for your hard work.
Then there is information about the topics. You can see this like company culture, video gaming, there's cyber, there's most of indoor, person, man, wall.
The company's development becomes more challenging.
If I change the person, you can see that this actor is only just the small part of the movie.
In 2016,
also, you can see that there is a lot of
new corporate procedures.
Seriously, there is a lot of joy in Piotr's speech.
Are obliged to follow.
And this is like a beginning of this. When we add timeline,
every employee
you can see that it automatically recognizes the text that is in the movie.
Testers and BA,
when I would like to add translation to Polish, you can see that it's automatically translating the text.
2.
We can add some additional thing to our screen, like keywords, emotions, people.
blue, and orange.
That's powerful, yeah?
To enhance your
Think about
performance,
what we can do
create
when
open spaces
I will pause it and show you just a few seconds on another movie. Let's go downstairs. Think about another movie in which we already know the people that are there, because this people in this movie was from objectivity. When we open the news, you can see who is here. I don't know why, but you can see this is a lot of Russian. I hope it is Russian words there. And this time, there is a lot of joy. Yeah. When I was doing this presentation previous time, when I added this news, there was like a 30% of angry and 20% of sad. So they improved something. But let's go to the presentation, because I would like to show you how easy it is to... That's good that you're enjoying this talk. Some brief ideas. I already mentioned Uber. So this is the face recognition. For Uber, there is like a problem that somebody was driving the car, multiple people was driving on the same account. So they start using cognitive services, that the service that I showed you just a few moments before. Okay, do you want 1 second for a picture? No worries. In our application, we are checking the content if somebody is putting some kind of adult content to verify. Maybe the other content is still okay, but we don't want to have the next porn application. But but we are trying to somehow check if content is okay. If not, we are checking it manually. If you want to do it in manual way, think about how many people will need to watch your photos. And also there's a problem. Do you want somebody watch your photos? Definitely not me. But how? I promise you that I will show you, and I'm talking 30 minutes. So we have 15 minutes to show you how easy it is to integrate cognitive services to your application. You mentioned that you don't know Azure. So unfortunately, you need to use Azure, and in this demo, we'll build Universal Translator. Do you know what is a Star Trek? Perfect. So yeah, you put a smile on my face, because quite often when I ask about the Star Trek or Klingons, nobody is raising the hand. So we'll build a device from the movies. What we need to do? First of all, in the Azure, we need to create service, cognitive services. And you can see that we are naming it, selecting subscription, something typical, and we are using free tier. So we can start playing with the services for free. When we do that, then of course, we need to install Nugget package. So it's easy. Then, the most difficult part in this whole development process is to configure the application. So the one thing that we need to get is a key from Azure portal, and we'll be doing two things in our application. The first thing will be, I will show you that we'll be understanding the language that I'm saying to the computer and translate it to different language. And the other thing will be using these services for saying the translated text. And you can see here that we are translating from English to German, so this is like a speech recognition, just simple configuration, adding information from which language to which language, and when we are providing a speech, that's like output, we need to add only the two. And magic start happening here. So for saying the text, it is only one line of code. It's like configuration and just speak the text. For recognizing, it looks a bit scary, but it's most of them is the decoration. So we are starting for creating recognizer like the previous time with providing some kind of configuration. Then we are connecting event to understand our language, and there's showing information in the screen. And finally, there is like a few lines that is important. Here is the line that will be saying the text. Then there's await start continuous recognition. So it means that it will listen to the microphone and put into cognitive services all text that are saying, and then stopping it and generally stopping it. And that's all. So maybe let's try to run this application. Maybe Visual Studio is not working. Let's use something else. Hello, how are you today?
Hallo, wie geht es dir heute?
That's nice, yeah?
Offen.
You know,
Das ist
my
schön,
computer have a
ja.
feature because the microphone is just over the fan, so you can hear. Oh, wow.
Mein Computer hat eine Funktion, weil das Mikrofon ist dunkel für über das Wochenende kam nach Hause.
I will show you one more feature because I always thought that learning foreign language is a bit difficult, but for Microsoft, where is it? I can see there is a epic fail of everything today, but no worries. I will show it because Cognitive Services is also supporting Polish language. And you will see how difficult is our language to recognize. I changed it to Polish. Let's try to build it. So let's try to say something in Polish.
Nicht auf.
Dzisiaj jest bardzo ładnie w Krakowie i świeci słońce.
Heute.
Perfect, yeah? So this is like a confirmation that our language is very difficult. So
Ich möchte sprechen.
me too. So you can see that it's very easy to not this one. To integrate cognitive services with your application. You have two options. The first option is that you can just download API from the NuGet and install it. The other option is that you can use endpoint that is provided by cognitive services and just call that endpoint and use it in different application. But when you are thinking about cognitive services, there's like a problem of network. Think about the production. You would like to recognize the pictures on production when you have like 10 bottles per second. And when you think about latency, yeah, it's almost not possible to get the answer in that fast way. But we can use containers, and we can place these cognitive services next to our production line and almost forget about internet connection. Let's open Docker. And to do that, we need to run two commands. With standard, the first command, we are just downloading Docker image. And with the second one, we are running the Docker. So providing information about the port, about memory. Then we are saying that we would like, in this case, we'll be using sentiment about cognitive services. And then we need to provide URL where we have set up cognitive services. And last and most important thing, API key. And I said that you don't need to almost you need to have internet connection working. Why? Because still you need to pay for these services. So when you put this image as close as production as possible, from time to time, you need to have this device connected to internet to send billing data to Microsoft. Let's try to run this. Yes, of course. You can copy it, don't worry, I will delete the service after a doc. And you can have only, it's only 30,000 of free calls per month. No worries. Or I should kill you after the presentation. So we need to wait for a few seconds to get response that it's working. There's some warnings. Is Japanese? Yeah, waiting for Japanese. Yeah, it started. So when we open this port, we can find a Swagger there. So there's like very nice definition of the service. So we can even try to use it. And I mentioned before, one of the options of the communication is JSON. So you can see it here like a response, like a query to our services. There's language, ID, information about the text. And when we tried it out, we'll get information, is it positive or negative text. 92% means that it's very positive. I also mentioned that it will work without internet, so let's disconnect internet. And let's try to say something not positive. It's raining. Maybe somebody loves when it's raining. I'm angry. Maybe this will be enough. Let's execute it. And you can see that this number have been decreased almost to 0. So it's working without internet. Think about your production line in just -10 level in some secret place. That you can just take the device when you have your production environment to the air only for sending billing information to Microsoft. The last thing that I would like to mention is component name custom vision. I talked to you that this cognitive services is like a pre-built model. So this is like a service that we can love it or hate. If we not find the correct solution for this kind of the product, it's hard to adjust it to our needs. But in the family of cognitive services, it's like a custom vision. So this is a product that allows us to train it, to build our own AI that will help in one of two things: tagging elements or recognizing the place of element on the photo. It works very easy. So we can upload set of images. Then we can train it, evaluate it. Of course, we need to check it if it's working correctly or not. And in the background, it can actively learning. And let's demonstrate you how easy it is to create this kind of AI that will help us, for example, recognize something. So I open Custom Vision AI, and here the most difficult part is the name. So let's name it 4Developers. Then the resource on which we'll try to use the services. And we have two project types: classification, so detection, so naming the elements that are on the screen, and also object detection. So for example, if we are looking for the plates, this is the second scenario. Then single class, multiple tags per image. And Microsoft is providing few models that is better for some kind of elements. If we think, if we are not looking for the food, landmarks, or retail, we can use general. If we know that our photos are connected to one of these services, we should use one of these topics because there is a better model under the hood. These compact items, it is target for a Docker image. If you want to put your solution, your model to that kind of Docker environment, you should use one of the last four. Let's create a product. Let's make a very fast experiment. I will add some photos. Let's add some solution that can recognize the dogs. This is bigger, yeah? Uploading. Done. Let's do the second kind of dog, or can be Eskimo. And when we upload it, we need to just train the model. So clicking train, let's use quick training. I hope it to be really fast. Waiting. When the training will be done, we'll get an information about how good our model is. Yeah, it's perfect. It can recognize every dog we will put there. So let's make a quick test. When we add like a dog from the test set, let's add this one. You can see that answer is perfect, yeah? But what you need to remember about this product, we learned only two types of dogs there. We learned this model how to recognize two types of dogs. So when we add like German Shepherd, it's still Eskimo. And this is one of the other important things that you should remember. In this product, we are supporting only the case that you designed it in this experiment. So in this case, we designed it to recognize is it Eskimo or Beagle. If you want to say that this is not Eskimo and this is not a Beagle, then we should provide additional set of pictures that is showing other dogs and saying this is not this kind of the dog. And when we are happy with this solution, we can just publish it like an endpoint. And I mentioned before, you can just use endpoint, key, content type, and provide URLs that will be recognized in your product. So you can see it's very easy. You can build very powerful solution in very few steps. And the future. I think this is the limitation, it's only your imagination. So if you're able to think about, or maybe if you are able to change a bit of mindset and define your problems in a bit different way, then you can provide a very nice AI solution for your customers. And just briefly summary, so we talk about a bit AI revolution in our life. We went through the most important cognitive services, and I hope I show you that using this kind of services is very easy. It is just a few lines of code or just call to API. Do you have any questions? Yeah? No, it depends on your learning set, and this is a very difficult task. In this case, we are just providing, it's very simple, because this is like an AI that is checking two dogs that are quite different. And if I would provide all pictures that I have, then this confidence of this model will be lower. Then if you think about different experiments that those different items will be very similar to each other, this confidence will be also lower. And you need to find the pictures that are representative in that way that will bring this number to higher value. And very often people are thinking adding more picture will give this value some bonus to make it higher. And unfortunately, it doesn't work in that way. Sometimes providing more pictures can break your model. Do you have some other questions?
How do you train a system? So before you see the picture of Moscow and the result was the city of London. So how does it improve over time?
When the service was started, there was a small checkbox that Microsoft will be using your photos for training. Now they are using like set of the photos. And of course, this is very difficult. There's also like these photos are also based on our behavior. So for example, this kind of algorithms have some kind of problems when, for example, predicting gender in scope of Afro-American, because there, most of the pictures can be white person pictures. So there is.
So the content that developers provide is being used to contribute to
Before. Now there is a good enough solution inside that there is not need for that. I was a bit afraid at the beginning what I was sending to that kind of service. And there was one more question in the end, yeah?
What is the cost of using services?
Perfect question. I would say it depends, like always. You should open Azure Calculator, and then you need to define what you'd like to do. So here we are looking for a product, cognitive services. Let's add it. And here you need to provide what kind of services you would like to use. For example, for text analyze, it's like 500 transactions per month. It's for free. If you go for S0, it's like $74 for 25 transactions. Then every next transaction, every next 1,000 transactions is costing you $3. If you think about the photos, where is? It can be, for example, face recognition. Then you can see that it's like $1 per 1,000 per month. So you need to check every service. And you should be aware, for example, when in the first demo, I was showing you the picture and there was information like a text, description, adult content. Unfortunately, Microsoft is counting, it is still one call to API, but it is counting every feature as a separate call. So for example, if you want to get information about the tags, about adult content, and also about description, it will count it 3 times. Do you have another questions? So thank you for attending my talk. If you have some new questions come to your mind, just grab me during the coffee break or during the next session. Thank you.